Hey there, morning everybody. I'm sitting here in traffic and just decided I might as well take this moment to do conscious coffee. So, if my phone goes in flops, that's what's going on because I hit a bump every now and then. I was sitting here and I was actually doing an inspirational listen as I was sharing yesterday on Conscious Coffee. A lot of the times in the morning, somebody asked me, like, what are some of the things that you do or that you recommend doing to be able to transmutate, energy and everything. And some of the stuff that I had mentioned was to start your day with gratitudes and to start your day with meditation. I do an inspirational listen every single morning. I've already done that today. I get up, I do my gratitudes, and then I go and I grab my coffee, and then I do an inspirational listen. And that normally takes 10-15 minutes. And then sometime throughout the day, later in the day, I'll find another 15 to 20 minutes to do a meditation where I'm either just listening to some rhythmic sound that I can focus in on that will help me, completely detach from thought so that I get into that meditative, higher vibrational feeling, or just be able to just kind of clear the chaos of the mind. Well, this morning while driving, I was listening to another inspirational listen from, I don't even know who it was. It was just kind of self-growth stuff. I'm always bouncing around on different people. And I started thinking about yesterday's Conscious Coffee, and I was realizing my irritation around yesterday's Conscious Coffee. I was just like, I feel so frustrated over the immaturity of some people. And here's the ego of it, is that I want to just be able to not have those people affect me at all. I want to be able to have this world be mature. And I have to have the realization of that's God's business and their business. That has nothing to do with me. Just because they tend to sometimes bless me with their irritation does not mean that I can do anything about it. And there is the point that I'm bringing to the table this morning, because I hear often, I actually just received an email from somebody yesterday as well that was frustrated with not being able to control a situation with their spouse. And it's vitally important to always try to detach from any situation and have the ability to witness somewhere along, even if it takes you till the next day to get caught up and to get to that level, to catch up to that level, to be able to get into a witness perspective. Because only from the witness perspective can we act on something from a proactive fashion instead of consistently being reactive. Instead, consistently reacting. And what we are programmed to do is we're programmed to react consistently to things. Nobody ever teaches us as a small child to stop and pause, to go inward, to try to step back, to not take responsibility for somebody else's actions, feelings, thoughts. Instead, we are actually taught that we are responsible for other people's actions, feelings, and thoughts. Over and over again, I listen to some of my kids' stuff, and that they're listening to, and the lessons, or some of the rhyming songs, Mother Goose, even all that kind of stuff. And there's these little messages in there around, that basically you have to watch everything that you do and realize that you are responsible for somebody else. Women are taught that, and here's the little sexual piece on this, is that women are frequently taught that we are responsible for the way men feel, think, and the actions that they take. When a woman is sexually abused in any fashion, especially rape or molestation of any sorts, or harassment, instantaneously, the question is, what did you do to bring that on? What did you do to draw him out? Because obviously you were at fault for his actions. You were at fault for him grabbing you, groping you, saying those things, or forcing himself on you. You must have been seducing him in some fashion. You must have looked at him a certain way, said something, or been dressed a certain way. It is, in my opinion, absolutely disgusting to put that kind of responsibility on anybody, whether it is a sexual situation or another situation. I never even tell my kids that they should be sorry for something, because a forced sorry is not an authentic sorry. Don't be sorry unless you're absolutely, legitimately sorry, apologetic for something. Now, you might need to slow down, stop, and go, hey, why am I reacting like this? Why am I caught in the energy of this? But to go inward and actually take responsibility for actions and thoughts and feelings about things, and not to give our power away to somebody else. And we can go back to like the rape scenario between a man and a woman. If a woman is sexually abused by somebody, she is considered then what? She's considered a victim. She's also considered the seductress that caused it. On either side of it, she is being shamed and guilted. She is being held responsibility, and she is losing her power in that moment. But the perpetrator is also losing his power in the moment, because now he is no longer responsible for the situation. His sexual immaturity to the situation is just like, oh no, she made me do it. She made me do it by wearing that dress. She made me do it by having 4 or 5 inch heels on. She made me do it by having long blonde hair. She made me do it by, looking at me, batting her eyes. I know that she wanted it in that situation. She brought it on. That is not a responsible or a powerful statement when we do things like that, when we step in, and especially around our sex, because we do this very, very much around our sex. Although we do it around our money as well. We blame all outside sources for exactly where we're at, what we're going through, what we're feeling, and how we are choosing to react to it, instead of embracing our power and saying, no, I'm making a decision here. This is what I want to do. This is why I'm doing it. This is all on me. Sexual immaturity causes tremendous traumatic damage. And yesterday's Conscious Coffee, there was a lot of sexual immaturity happening on the chat while I was trying to get a point across, which I don't even remember what the point was at this point in time. It doesn't much matter. Moment passed. But the sexual immaturity of probably 5 or 6 men that popped on yesterday, where they were expressing everywhere from, hey, I'm nude, sex, call me, and none of these men I know, none of them I have any sort of relationship with. They probably just caught alive. Maybe they follow me. I don't know. Doesn't much matter. I'm pretty sure they got blocked at this point in time. But that is a frequent thing that happens to the feminine. That is a very, very frequent thing that happens to the feminine. Unfortunately, the male population of our world is extremely sexually immature in the way they choose to handle their arousal with women. And then they get frustrated and irritated at women for not giving them the time of day, for not being open, for not being open to pursuing, for being scared, skittish, all that kind of stuff. And here's the sad thing: when a large enough group, and it doesn't take a very large group, but when a large enough group of any particular immaturity rises up, such as that, what that does is it really sabotages all of men. So guys, I'm like, all men should be really pissed off at these men, because these men ruin it for the rest of you. These men really, really ruin it for the rest of you. They cause so much shutdown in the feminine, and then it makes it where us women just choose to go, I'm just pissed off at men. I don't want anything to do with it. I don't need men. Blah, blah, blah. They're only traumatizing. They only hurt me. They only want one thing. Blah, 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 all this stuff, because we just don't want to deal with that kind of energy. So Women do it too. We do it in multiple different ways a lot of the times. Sexual immaturity for women is that we have a lot of shame and fear around our sex. We don't want to embrace our sex. We are scared to push through the things that we have been programmed with. A lot of women, just yesterday, I was sitting with a couple, and they were talking about oral sex with me. And he was talking about, how she didn't want to go down on him, but he loved to go down on her, and that she should have more understanding and compassion towards him going down on her, because women, and this was his words, because women are dirtier than men down there. That right there is a program that us women deal with, and it is, there's not a woman on the planet that is not very extremely conscientious and concerned about what is going on in the lower lands of her body. It's, to even attach the word dirty to that area normally horrifies and traumatizes, triggers a woman into, I'm disgusting, I'm not this, I'm not, I'm too much, I'm not being accepted, I'm not lovable, I'm just I'm this and women already have so much of that program going on. That is a two-way street. Number one, men, don't ever call your woman dirty like this gentleman just accidentally did. That was bad on him. And if you're hearing this, bad on you. But at the same time, the flip side of it is, ladies, don't let that immaturity get to you, and know yourselves, love yourselves. Don't listen to anybody else. Quite literally, fuck the world. Like, whatever, doesn't matter. So, after all of this, no matter how irritated I might be about those men, wannabe men, little boys acting out yesterday, and no matter how much I examine the trauma and looking at different things that I myself have been through, that I witnessed my clients, my daughters, my friends going through in the sexual realm of things, or even out in any other area, the responsibility is ours to be responsible for our actions, to be a witness to things, to, hit that pause button that I was talking about. Hit that pause button I was talking about yesterday. I just hit a little bump in the road. And boing, there we went. The truth in the matter is that everything, no matter what it is, even when it's really, really dismal and bad and horrible, that it's always perfect. It's always, always perfect. And that's what I was thinking about, because I was like, I don't think my message got through yesterday. I don't think that it was a great conscious coffee. Maybe I should just go and delete it. And I remember sitting in the middle of the conscious coffee just going, you know what, I'm just done. I'm just going to call done on this and cancel this, because this is bull. They made me want to not do my live stream yesterday. And I was realizing all of the stuff that was coming up inside of me. And then this morning, while I was thinking about it a little bit more, I was realizing how perfect it was, because I got to deal with some old programs. I got to deal with this. It was just this feeling like it came from deep inside, from the other side of like my heart and everything, where it was just this feeling of a lot of shame, a lot of guilt, a lot of not knowing how to respond, what was okay, what wasn't okay. I think I flipped somebody off on there that day, yesterday, one of those men. I was just like, F you. But in that processing of that, I realized, how perfect is that? Everything is perfect, because we are always given the opportunity to deal with something that is rising up and needs to be cleared out. And when we embrace it and we see it for the lessons that it provides us, for the growth that it provides us, the healing that it provides us, and we come at it from that proactive stance, then we get to move through it. Also, the acceptance that nobody on this planet is here to please us. It is nobody's duty to ever say, do, or be something to please another. Now, granted, there's going to be a lot of people in our world that's going to please us, that's going to make us happy, that's going to bring joy and fulfillment into our life. But it is not our responsibility or anybody else's responsibility to please. It is only our responsibility to please ourselves. It is not our responsibility to ever please another person on this planet. And when we get into that acceptance of it, it really does make it a lot easier to move through such situations as yesterday's, when it's like, because I did have that thought run through my head, like, why are these men doing this? Like, all of a sudden, like, I felt in that moment, like, what did I do to deserve at 5:55 p.m. on a Wednesday afternoon? What did I do to deserve to be, all of a sudden tormented by 5-6 guys about sex on an open live stream or ever, And I was like, I'm not wearing anything sexy. I'm not doing this. I'm not being provocative. I'm not. All I did was I put sex in the title. That's all I did. And I put it no sex. And bam, all of a sudden I'm getting hit up. So I instantly went into blame mode to myself. But then I had to get to that point of realization that they're not there to please me. They're not there to make me feel any particular way. It is my lesson to embrace what is coming up for me, what they are triggering inside of me, and to move through it, and to expand myself, to strengthen myself. So my message to you guys today is to look for, and especially you ladies out there, because I know that we all get hit with this, but to really look and see two parts. Well, actually probably three parts. Number one part is, like, where are you being immature in your life? Where are you not standing in your truth? And where are you letting the old programs of shame, your fear, your lack of confidence, because that's like yesterday, all those men definitely not very confident in themselves. Where are you letting that immaturity rise up in you, and how are you putting that out into the world? And then the next piece would be, like, taking responsibility for when you are feeling triggered, when you are feeling like somebody is crossing a boundary, triggering you, doing something, and you instantaneously go into, well, why are they doing that? Kind of like what I was feeling. So, why? Where's my responsibility? Yes, where's your responsibility? But at the same time, where is your responsibility around not just like, what am I doing to deserve this? Because that's applying shame and guilt to ourselves. That's the wrong kind of responsibility. It is more on the lines of, what is this pulling up for me, and what do I need to move through? What am I being given the opportunity to move through at a deeper level because of this? And then really truly the next piece is, like, do unto others as you would have done unto yourself. Like, if you don't want it done to you, then why the hell are you doing it to somebody else? It's really truly that way, because I can, often we don't ever stop to think about how we're being received and what that potentially can be doing to somebody else, how it can be triggering to somebody else. So have the maturity level to really question self, and also look and go, where am I looking for somebody else to please me, to satisfy me, to make me happy, when that's not their responsibility. That's not their job. They did not come to this planet, to this earth. They were not born to make me happy. I was born to make me happy. So if I'm not happy, if I'm not pleased, if I'm not feeling satisfied, then let's not look any further than my own backyard, as Dorothy would say, right? Wizard of Oz. Don't look any further than your own backyard for all that stuff, because it really is. Your own backyard is your internal world. Your own backyard is the things that you choose to do, how you choose to act, feel, and think. And to just slow the fuck down and learn to detach from all of that a little bit and step into who you truly are, that soul feeling, that beautiful, beautiful soul feeling. Because if more people did that, if more people slowed the fuck down and stepped into their soul core and felt that space and got into that more detached state, we would have a lot less aggression in this world. We would have a lot less pain and suffering, a lot less anger for sure, and fighting, because we would be able to become the witness instead of the consistent victim. and we would be proactive versus reactive to the events and the people in our life. So I hope that got through. I actually don't enjoy doing live streams while driving because I feel a little bit scattered. That's why I don't really do them that much. But I was just thinking about that, and I wanted to share because I know that yesterday I probably came across very flustered in my conscious coffee, because those men really did fluster me. It was like, that was very authentic. I was getting very, very tense, uptight in myself, to the point that I really did want to just cancel the whole damn thing. So if in this I brought up anything in you that made you think of somebody who consistently gets victimized, traumatized, is consistently living in a reactive state, doesn't know how to separate and become that witness, doesn't have that peace, is constantly pointing outward. If I said anything in here that might have touched you to think of them, push the share button, share this with them. And then also, if I've said anything to you that makes you think, hey, that was valuable, or anything on any conscious coffee that makes you think, hey, that was valuable, and then message me for deets on working with me one-on-one, so that you can get me when I'm a little bit clearer and not driving. Because I do have availability on one-on-one. I also have some beautiful workshops, online courses, home study programs that are coming up and that are out on these topics and more. Self-empowerment, confidence, self-love. These are things that we need to work on. We live in a world where we have been programmed into shame, into doubt, into fearing who we are, and not truly tapping into our divine selves. So let's get you into that divine state of being, in that divine state of living, where you can have that fuck yes life, even in those moments that you might find yourself irritated by the fools of this world that want you to stroke them in all the ways that you don't want to. So I love you guys. As always, stop existing, start living. You can follow me at www.kendalwilliams.com, and I will catch you tomorrow with a conscious coffee somewhere. Love you guys.